For the last 25 years, Addington Fund has been providing compassionate support to farming families in times of crisis. Our story began in 2000 with a phone call between two Suffolk clergy, Sally Fogden and Richard Addington. They wanted to help pig farmers in East Anglia, whose herds had been devastated by the outbreak of swine fever.
I was aware of what was going on, but then Richard Addington, who was a retired country priest, who I did know quite well, and was very ill at the time, dying of cancer, so I think that makes it all the more remarkable. He rang me up and he said, "Is there going to be a fund or anything?" So I said, "Well, I think we can give it a go. I'm going to go and see the bank." So I went and saw my bank and said, would they be prepared to help set up a little fund, a little charity. The man at the bank said, "You will have to give it a name." So I said, "Well, Richard Addington thought of it, so I'm going to call it, I think we ought to call it the Addington Fund."
The charity had to spring into action again when foot and mouth disease hit in 2001 and redirected its surplus funds to respond to the national emergency.
We eventually came out of swine fever. Then what happened after that? Foot and mouth hit.
The baton was passed on to the Arthur Rank Centre and the charity renamed the ARC Addington Fund, with a huge number of volunteers and staff answering the helplines. 8 phones ringing non-stop from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Each caller was put in touch with a volunteer from the Farming Community Network or an agricultural chaplain so they could have someone to offload to if necessary.
I was on the helpline during that time. Really bad phone call that I took. Really stretched my mind. This poor guy, the ministry had come on, tested his cattle. They'd got the disease. So the vets came in, shot the animals. They were then loaded onto lorries and taken away. But the next day, the lorries came back and took the animals back up on his farm.
We helped a lot of farmers who were in real difficulty. Somehow the moral support we gave, and it helped get through a very difficult time.
We were told we would only be needed for 6 months and then would return to our day jobs once the crisis ended. How wrong that prediction turned out to be. 25 years later, I'm still working for Addington Fund, and so much has changed. Since being entrusted to us by that dedicated group of rural clergy and supporters from Suffolk, we've been proud to stand alongside the farming community for the last 25 years. The seeds planted all those years ago are still flourishing as we continue our practical, hands-on support for farmers. Today, we support rural communities by providing a comfortable home, on-farm support, and a chance to build a future in farming.
It was hard. It was really hard. I couldn't carry on because the council wouldn't help us. We couldn't private rent. There was nowhere for us to go. There was no help. Well, we've got a lovely little 2-bedroom bungalow at Tregerseel, which we wouldn't have had if it weren't for the Addington Fund.
I'm writing to thank you for the generous grant of £1,000. This has helped more than you can possibly imagine and removed a great deal of stress and anxiety. At one of the most difficult times I've ever experienced in my farming career, this was a major lifeline in allowing me to continue. Once again, can I thank you and all concerned for your generosity.
Addington Fund is offering a new entrant the opportunity to take on the tenancy of our first starter farm, Wins, in Cumbria, as an exciting first step into farming.
I'm a first generation farmer in West Cornwall. Being first generation farmers, when the Addington grant came up, we saw it as a great opportunity to really move our business forward. We had a full grant amount of £3,000 allocated to us, which we spent all on temporary electric fencing. The grant really allowed us to progress probably 5 years ahead, equipment-wise, of what we would have been able to afford to do on our own. Obviously, financially moved us forward a lot better than we ever imagined. Farmers are nothing if not resilient, and even today we still receive calls from farmers whose families we supported in 2001. With your help, we will continue to sow those seeds, adapting and evolving the support we offer so that we can stand with the farming community whenever times get tough.
Never in our wildest dreams would either David or I have imagined that the Addington Fund would become a huge national fund in the way it has.
Looking at the Addington Fund, I am astounded, and that little charity which started in Suffolk has now become an immense charity helping people across the length and breadth of the British Isles.
We owe them your life, really.
Yeah, that's one way of putting
Yeah,
it. It's offered us a future,
Mm.
and we thank them very much for that future.
And thank everybody that supports the Addington Fund.
Thank you for your support.